Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Hexcells. Let's hop into 6-5 just so in case it's super hard, which it probably is. Aww, interesting. They're all blue. It's just finished. Game by Matthew Brown. Thanks to Bob Burkbile, iTween, Andre Harbera for the Harbera font, and Stofagoslav Simon for the Code Light font. I was about to say, man, this could be a really difficult one because if I make any mistakes, I could potentially not finish the game. In fact, we kind of need to make mistakes, don't we? Let's make some mistakes. And really? What is it doing that for? It's showing blue now. How did I mess that up? Let's make 100 mistakes. And just really play with it. There. So, 3 people worked on this game. It's nice to see that you can make a game that is worth a couple hours of playing with only really one person. Well, actually, one person made this game. Let's be realistic. And then there was a thanks to 3 other people. And so now, whenever you're recording a series for YouTube, you run into this problem. You run into the issue. Yeah, and it gives me 264 regardless. So even with 100 mistakes, it seems like it didn't matter. That's what it does when you have 100 mistakes. What happens when you finish it with no mistakes? There seems to be a list here. See, now that I'm just clicking these right pretty methodically, it almost sounds like a song, but you'd have to be a pretty good player to know where to click and click them in the right point. It feels like a MIDI file. MIDI files are like sheet music that would just play on every click the next note. So menu 100% done. So again, like I was saying, every time as we speed run here, every time you're recording for YouTube, you have to ask yourself, you run the risk of potentially finishing really early, which is exactly what has happened here. And so now I have to figure out, or at least try to figure out something to say or something to do as we are playing. 264 is the end of it. We're gonna play Hexcells Plus after this, so come back for that. It'll be some more puzzles with hopefully some new concepts and new challenges to take home and work on. Well, take home. Yeah, I made a mistake even as I'm trying to speedrun. This would be an interesting game to try to speedrun. If you memorized it really fast, that might work, but I think a lot of speedrunners would have trouble memorizing all the solutions. When we get to Hexcells Infinite, though, it stops becoming an issue as far as the number of puzzles. That is the one thing I could say that's a problem with this game. If you had bought this for like $3 when it first came out, I don't know if that's how much it sold for, but if you paid more than 99 cents for something like this, you might feel a little gypped. I would feel pretty satisfied even at 99 cents, but only being able to do the puzzles once is kind of sucky. That's always kind of sucky in a puzzle game. This puzzle game is a standard paper puzzle, is what I would call it. It's not like The Witness, which is a huge 3D world where you have to walk around and manipulate your perception a lot to figure out what is going on and find. You don't have to platform or walk to specific places. It just says this is puzzle 1-1. But this is still a puzzle game, unlike something like Angry Birds, where that's sort of a puzzle game, but it still requires you to be able to skillfully use the birds and set the trajectory. That's more of an action game than I would say an actual puzzle game. It's an action puzzler, maybe, would be the best way to describe it. So, I definitely enjoyed this. It's a shame it's a little short. And it's a shame that this is gonna be a little short. There's definitely some things I would have done here to improve it. I would have had a musical piece play every time you solved a puzzle. I'd have fireworks going off, and I would have all of the yellow honeycomb Hexcells here fall down as soon as you've marked all of the correct ones. So if you don't want to sit there and mark the incorrect ones as incorrect, it would just happen automatically once the game recognizes you've done everything. That's something I definitely want. I definitely want more puzzles, but now when you get Hexcells on Steam, at least you're going to get the triple bundle. That would be the only way you would want to get it, so you'll get Hexcells Plus and Hexcells Infinity. I'd love to see some more of this. But with Hexcells Infinity, you pretty much have an infinite number of them, and then you're right in line with a challenger for Minesweeper. And this is a much better game to play than pulling up Minesweeper. The only problem is, of course, Minesweeper used to at least be by default installed on all computers, and that's all Windows PCs at least, and that's thus the popularity of it. Let's see. There we go. There we go. There we go. What else would I do? I would put some more concepts in here, definitely. I might take it to a three-dimensional plane, have it slightly rotating. The Witness did a lot of cool things in the way it obfuscated puzzles by wrapping a puzzle around a pole, breaking the screen on the puzzle so that only parts of it could be seen, or only certain colors of it could be seen. I got lucky there. And you could certainly try to add that to any puzzle game and see if that is a way to stretch. There could have been a lot more training. There could have been a lot more simpler games in between each of these, where you worked your way up to concepts instead of mostly you did a little bit of training in the first two chapters, but by the time you were in the third chapter, you're mostly getting handed just ever increasingly more difficult levels. So, see if we can just finish the 1-1 as fast as possible. First chapter. You could go crazy with this in lots of different ways. You could try to put like a zombie theme on it. You could try to thematically change things. You could try to put a story in it. But for a game like this, you really don't feel like you need a story, which is kind of a funny criticism then that I have for The Witness, which is set in a 3D world, and as soon as the game is set into a 3D world, I really do want a story of some kind here. This gives you nothing as far as that. Gives you no story, no characterization, no progress, no emotional manipulation. All the things I said The Witness suffered for not having, and yet because this is smaller scale, less ambitious, and not set in a 3D world, I have no problem with the Hexcells. I really like it. It's fine. It's just a little short. It just left me wanting more, and that's all it really has done. Let's see. Come on. I'm not doing very well. My attempts at speedrunning are failing pretty miserably. There we go. So, when you look at something like the first training section, and that being considered a puzzle, and then the last puzzle being considered a puzzle, you've got several here that aren't even puzzles. When you go to the count, I would say probably you're talking 5 here, 3 here, another 4 here, so it's 7, maybe 4 here makes you 11, 4 here makes you 15, 4 here makes you 19. Barely 12 levels. I wish there was something more here. I wish there was a reason to get all 264. I wish that would unlock something. The little background effect that was going on before seemed to slightly indicate or trick me into believing that there was going to be more, but no, there aren't. That's kind of a shame. This needs to be a little bit bigger and a little bit more ambitious, and I look forward to checking out Hexcells Plus next. Now, from the main screen, we still don't know what this is. This wasn't some secret thing. This isn't any secret thing. No copyright probably could be claimed from a phrase Hexcells. The menu could have definitely had some better things besides just muting the audio. It does have a launcher config for the graphics. It has the resolution you can set, and that's about it. I don't know why you'd want 3 slots. This feels very much like a cell phone port of a game, not a big issue. To me, I think it works just as fine with a mouse and keyboard as it would with a touchscreen. If anything, it would probably be worse as a touchscreen game, just because you'd accidentally click on things. I kind of wish it didn't count mistakes when you flag something as right and it isn't right, because that doesn't make any sense. A Minesweeper only flags things, or you only lose the game when you make a mistake by right-clicking on something. But here, the game keeps going, unlike Minesweeper. Maybe a Minesweeper mode in this would have been nice, where if you make a mistake, it just messes up, and thus your hardcore, you have to start all over again. Playing in like a hardcore mode. Yeah, it definitely needs some kind of hardcore mode where the map just resets everything when you make one mistake. And sure, people could try to memorize it, but that would be a lot of memorization. Well, I don't think I can stretch it anymore. That was Hexcells, and it was pretty fun. A little short. Let's look forward to Hexcells Plus. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, Comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps me out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.